Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in a recent report, Bernie Sanders reveals some extremely concerning details about Americans currently 55 and older, and he gives his solution, which is a $200 permanent per month increase. We'll be covering that. Plus, could a 4-day work week really be a possible thing? This is also a recent proposal by Bernie Sanders. So we're going to be going over what some current CEOs that actually did transition into a 4-day work week have to say about it. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $10,000 in free stocks or $10,000 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Moomoo. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then deposit at least $100. At that point, Moomoo will be sending you at least 5 free stocks worth all the way up to $10,000. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stocks is just sell them for what they're worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our lead story of today's video, and this is going to involve Bernie Sanders. Well, recently someone set fire to his office in Vermont, and he was just recently arrested for this. Obviously, this is really terrible news. I'm pretty sure it probably was politically motivated. The guy, not the biggest fan of Bernie Sanders, but again, this is just clear stupidity. You could love a politician, you could hate them. If you don't like a politician's views, you don't have to go to their office and try to set it on fire or create personal harm to the person. Doesn't matter how much you hate the person or hate the politician, you shouldn't try to, personally harm the person or try to kill them. It just does not. It's just like the psychological mindset of this person. I'm just not sure where they stand. And luckily, no one was harmed by this. Luckily, Sanders was okay. I suppose he wasn't actually there, thankfully. So according to The Hill, a man was arrested Sunday on a federal arson charge related to the fire started Friday at the Vermont office of Senator Bernie Sanders. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Vermont announced on Sunday Shant Soghomian, also known as Michael Soghomian, was arrested Sunday after allegedly using fire to damage the building at 1 Church Street in Burlington, Vermont. The building is used in interstate commerce, requiring the alleged crime to be prosecuted at the federal level. Security cameras captured Soghomian spraying the liquid near the outer door of Sanders' office on the 3rd floor and then lighting the area with a handheld lighter, according to court records. So clearly it seems like what they're saying there, that he was outside of Sanders' personal office. I guess he knew exactly where Sanders' office was. According to that, extremely scary stuff. Again, thankfully, Sanders, I guess, wasn't in there. But it doesn't show here, according to the report. I'm not sure if he knew that Sanders, or he thought that Sanders was there and he actually wasn't. But again, thank goodness he wasn't. It goes on to say that a blaze quickly began while Soghomian departed via a staircase. The resulting fire damaged the outside of the office door and surrounding areas, and the building sprinklers discharged on multiple floors, the DOJ said in a press release citing court records. If convicted, the suspect could face a maximum possible penalty of 5 to 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000, according to DOJ. And this seems like a pretty open and shut case. Again, if you hate a politician, if you hate a person, it doesn't mean that you have to try to set their house on fire or, create any type of personal harm. I think that should go without saying. Now, speaking of Senator Bernie Sanders, in a recent report, he showed off some extremely concerning details about Americans currently aged 55 and older. We're going to be going over what's in this report and what Sanders says is the best case solution to this issue. So according to Common Dreams, Sanders' report warns that nearly half of older Americans have no retirement savings whatsoever. So a report published Wednesday by the U.S. Senate committee chaired by independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders exposed the depths of the retirement crisis in America while exploring solutions that will allow all of our people to retire with dignity and security, not just the very wealthy. The report, entitled A Secure Retirement for All, was released ahead of a Wednesday morning Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions hearing on the retirement crisis. The publication revealed that nearly half of Americans aged 55 and older have no retirement savings. It also found that half of Americans aged 65 and older are living on less than $30,000 per year, while 1 in people are fighting to survive on less than $15,000 annually. I'm pretty sure they meant to put that while 1 in 10 people are fighting to survive on less than $15,000 annually, although I'm not quite sure. They go on to say that other key findings include nearly 5.3 million Americans aged 65 and older live in poverty, and roughly 1 in 10 seniors, nearly half of all Americans, are at risk of a financially insecure retirement, up from 1 in 3 workers in 1983. They also say that the average monthly Social Security benefit in 2023 was only about $1,782 or $21,384 annually, and the top 20% of earners received 63% of the $202 billion in annual income tax breaks for retirement accounts, while the bottom 60% received just 13.4% of these breaks. The report offers 2 main solutions to the retirement crisis: expanding and strengthening Social Security, the most successful government program in our nation's history, and enacting retirement security for all, legislation that ensures that every worker can save for retirement via their paychecks and guarantees lifetime monthly payments. Last year, Sanders, along with Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representative Jan Schakowsky and Val Hoyle, introduced the Social Security Expansion Act, which would increase monthly benefits by at least $200 and extend the program's solvency for decades by lifting the cap on the maximum amount of income subject to the Social Security payroll tax. The Social Security Administration's chief actuary said that had the bill been signed into law last year, the program would be able to pay full benefits to every eligible American for 75 years without any tax increase for 93% of U.S. workers earning less than $250,000 per year. They said that in the richest country in the history of the world, a secure and dignified retirement should be available to every American, not just the extremely wealthy. Sanders said on Wednesday, right now, more than half of older Americans have no retirement savings. More than 50% of our nation's seniors are trying to survive on an income of less than $30,000 a year. That is absurd. Congress must address the retirement crisis facing working class Americans across the country. So let me know your thoughts in comments below. Should this bill pass today? Leave your thoughts in comments below. And finally, Bernie Sanders is also leading the push for a 4-day work week, down to 32 hours from 40 hours per week. He's saying that companies must do this with a certain amount of employees, and they must not cut pay for them either. Now, of course, there have been some companies that have already gone down to a 4-day work week, and we're going to be going over what one of these companies have to say. So, according to CNBC, while relatively few companies have shifted to a 4-day work week, the advent of artificial intelligence apps like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini could hasten the shift. A recent survey by Tech.co of 1,000 US-based business leaders found that the companies that had extensive experience using AI were more than twice as likely to be open to a 4-day work week than those who didn't. Mike Neundorfer, the CEO and owner of Advanced RV in Willoughby, Ohio, which builds custom RVs, took his company to a 4-day work week about 18 months ago. He said it has made a huge difference. He said it's huge. He said it's enabled people to just improve the things they do in their lives, whether it's gardening, spending time with kids, with family. It's just been great. He also acknowledges that there are some downsides. He says that we're still not quite 100% of what we did in 40 hours, but we're really close. So you could argue that if we made these same improvements in productivity and stay with a 40-hour week, we might have another 10 or 20% return. I think we'll get to that point where we're at 10 or 20% on 32 hours, but we're not quite there now. So basically what my guess is, rather than this bill get passed through Congress and signed into law, I think it's probably going to be more so led by the private sector. So for example, we might see Apple shift their hours down to 32 hours, down to 32 hours per week from 40 while keeping the same pay. And then, of course, Microsoft and the competitors of Apple will probably have to do the same thing just to make sure that they're able to track the same level of employees as Apple can. And then we're probably going to see like maybe Target or someone or a company like that also go down to 32 hours while keeping the same pay. And to keep up with that, of course, Walmart and all of Target's competitors will have to do the same exact thing. And then we're going to see this shift across different industries. We're going to see like one or two companies kind of lead the way for others. And obviously, if the other companies want to keep up and get the same level of employees as the Apples of the world or the Targets of the world are, then they're also going to have to go down to 32 hours per week as well. But again, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.